What is your most hated enemy type in Destiny 2? For me, it's barriers. I cannot stand them. They just refuse to die, constantly regaining their health at the worst possible moment. We've got all the weapons we're ever going to get in Destiny 2, so I thought it'd be a good time to test them all and see what is the best legendary anti-barrier weapon in the game. I'll go over some basics and also tell you what I find to be the best legendaries for barriers. First, let's get the basics out of the way. So, weapon stat doesn't affect how many shots it takes. This is 67 weapons with Dumachelchis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 shots to break a barrier, that's fine. Now we move on to a build that will have 200 weapon stat, and you'll see that it still takes 5 shots, which to be honest doesn't really make sense, as the higher weapon stat you've got, the more damage that you do, but for whatever reason 200 weapon stat takes the same amount of shots to break a barrier as it does 100 weapon stat. So if you want to be efficient, don't worry about your weapon stat for breaking barrier shields. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 shots, both weapon stats. Next is that weaken will decrease the amount of shots required to break a barrier. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's no weaken effect. Dumachelchis has Withering Gaze, so I'm going to use that. And you'll see Withering Gaze is procced. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 shots. So Withering Gaze does decrease the amount of shots required to break a barrier. Next up is Radiant. So Radiant will also decrease the amount of shots required to break a barrier. So we can use this when Radiant Orbs in the Hunter's Journal. Anytime you pick up an Orb of Power, you will gain Radiant for 10 seconds. So if we apply Withering Gaze and Radiant at the same time, you will see that the amount of shots required to break a barrier goes down to 3. So Withering Gaze and Radiant both stack to break barriers even more quickly. Now there are also weapon perks and magazine options to help us break barriers quickly, and that is Adaptive Munitions, Under Over, and also Armour Piercing Rounds. Armour Piercing Rounds will increase our damage to barriers by 5%. Adaptive Munitions will increase our damage to shields up to 70%, and Under Over will deal 55% flat damage bonus to barrier shields. So that's the basics covered. So now let's actually talk weapons, perk rolls, things like that. We'll go over primaries first, and the first primary I want to talk about is a classic, the Amit AR2. Now this rolls with Adaptive Munitions, Armour Piercing Rounds, but also Turnabout. Turnabout will give you an overshield when you break an enemy's shield. Then you have Adaptive Munitions, which will give you a damage bonus of up to 70% the more hits you get on the shield. You can see in the gameplay that as I'm hitting the shield, the more damage I'm doing to it. And then we have Armour Piercing Rounds, which is just a 5% flat bonus on top. Very, very good weapon for barriers, and everyone should have access to this. It's one of the first weapons that you unlock to craft. Next is Doom of Chelchis, which you've already seen. It rolls with Adaptive Munitions and Withering Gaze, so with this paired together we are taking out a barrier's shields in 4 hits. Now all the testing I'm doing here is negative 30 in the firing range, and proc Withering Gaze, get the shield up, and it's 4 shots to break the barrier once Withering Gaze is active. Also, just as a tip, you can equip any weapon with the Stun Loader weapon mod, which when you break a barrier you will partially refill your ammo from reserves. Very powerful mod to equip to any weapon that you're going to use to stun champions. Doom of Chelchis can be acquired through the King's Fall raid, and if you get 5 patterns you'll be able to craft it. Next is Optative, a 180 Void hand cannon that can be acquired from running Riven's Lair. Now this rolls with Attrition Orbs and Under Over, so you're getting a flat 55% damage bonus to the barrier's shields. Plus, doing damage will give you an Orb of Power as well. Fantastic little weapon, but it can suffer from its magazine size. So if you're able to get an extended magazine on it, fantastic. Next is probably my favourite legendary, and it's Nameless Midnight with triple tap and kinetic tremors, and specifically accelerated assault. You never need to reload with this weapon, and because you've got kinetic tremors, it actually does good damage to the barrier as well, and easily gets rid of the shields. Now you can get this from the seasonal hub packages and also the weekly reward engrams. It will have a chance to drop masterworked, and that means it has accelerated assault. That's what you're looking for. Let's move on to specials. So the first one is Locus Lacotis, and this can roll with overflow and under over, which will give us a flat 55% to the barrier's shield. So we can see that once the barrier procs its shield, it gets rid of it in one hit. Very, very powerful. Chablo recently went over this weapon and he's got a good guide on how to acquire the patterns for it, so be sure to check Chablo91's video on it. The next weapon is one of my favourites. It's Action Item, and it's a trace rifle that can be bought with legendary marks from the tower. Now it rolls with rewind rounds and detonator beam, but what makes this special is his origin trait, Nail Meat Hammer. This weapon is more effective against combatant shields, and destroying a shield will give us improved heavy ammo progress if it is enhanced. Now, it absolutely shreds through barriers' shields because of detonator beam, and because we've got rewind rounds, we'll never need to reload when paired with stun loader as mentioned previously. This weapon is an absolute sleeper pick, and it is so good for dealing with barriers for its easy use. You don't need to hit crits, you don't need to use a sniper, you just continuously fire at the champion and it will get deleted, and its barriers will not be up for long at all. Now the next option is Embraced Identity, which can be crafted from getting patterns from the Pale Heart. Now this comes with a unique role where it's got Withering Gaze and also a damage perk and redirection, but it does mean that you require to get kills on ads with it to get redirection. Redirection will do 100% extra damage to any majors. Then we have Withering Gaze, which will apply a weaken effect once we aim in for a certain amount of time. Now it does require a bit of setup, but it is very good at dealing with barrier champions. After you stun the barrier champion, you'll be able just to kill it outright. Look at this. Withering Gaze applied, one shot for the shield, and I've missed a couple of crips there and he's nearly dead anyway. So it's very good for breaking barriers but also killing the champion outright from the one magazine if you can hit your crits. But it's a very powerful option if you don't mind the setup with redirection and Withering Gaze. That if you've got those two together, then you'll be able to stun and kill the champion outright. It's a very powerful option. Plus, its origin trait will grant you super energy for any enemies you kill with it, so when you're building up your redirection stacks, you'll be getting super energy as well. Next up is Hollow Denial, which can be acquired from probably Xur these days. You used to be able to get it in the Season of Nightmares with Zavala and Kaito, but I'm not sure how often it drops now and where you can get it. But Xur has an opportunity to sell this, and you can extract the pattern to craft it. It rolls with adaptive munitions and also killing tally, so if you've killing tally times 3 plus adaptive munitions, you destroy barriers' shields with it. Very, very good option, but I personally like Action Item more. But if you want to use a different type in your top slot, then you've got Hollow Denial here for your energy slot, which is still a very powerful option to deal with those barriers' shields. And then finally we've got Deliverance, which can deal with all 3 champions in the one gun because it can roll with Chill Clip and it intrinsically deals with barriers. You can easily kill a champion with it as well, and it only takes 1 burst to deal with the barriers shield, but you have got your charge time to think of in between everything. I've already did a full video on Deliverance, which I'll link in the description for you, to go over how you can acquire it and the best role to have. If you haven't got Deliverance, you can also get the Burden of Guilt from Trials. This can also roll with Chill Clip and will also intrinsically deal with barrier champions. Now for heavies, I don't believe in relying on your heavy to stun barrier champs, but if I was to pick one, it would be the caster frame swords. These are great for long range. I've got Temptation's Hook with Jolting Feedback and Attrition Orbs. It's a great weapon, but I don't think you should be relying on heavy for busting barriers. So in terms of the best weapons, I would say for primary would probably be Nameless Midnight with that triple tap kinetic tremors with accelerated assault. Never need to stop firing and destroys the barriers. Next, I would say action item, the trace rifle you can get from the tower with legendary marks. Get reround rounds, detonator beam. It's so easy to use, you never need to reload, and hammer meets nail will tear through those barriers. And then finally, my favourite weapon is Deliverance because it can deal with all 3 champions and it destroys a barrier in one burst. Hopefully you found the video useful. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like as it really helps me out, and if you enjoy what I do, then be sure to subscribe for more Destiny 2 content. Thanks very much for your time, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you soon for more Destiny 2 videos. All the best, cheers.